Penguins are among the most recognizable animals due to their contrasting black and white plumage and characteristic upright posture, from tiny individuals barely the size of a hand to emperor penguins that can stand over 1 meter tall. This group of flightless birds makes a strong impression. Humorous and graceful on land, yet incredibly agile and powerful in the water. The contrast between their clumsy waddle on shore and their superb swimming and diving abilities has made penguins a popular subject of biological study and a famous cultural icon. Morphologically, penguins have an upright posture and a distinct spine. They lay eggs like other birds and are classified under the class Aves. Basic characteristics include bipedal locomotion, forelimbs modified into flippers adapted for diving and swimming, being warm-blooded, maintaining a body temperature of about 38 degrees Celsius, and a beak made of keratin. Similar to other birds, all these features contribute to the unique image of penguins. A streamlined body, powerful flippers, and legs set far back on the body, making their walk on land appear wobbly, but optimizing them for swimming and diving. Penguins belong to the orders Phoeniciformes, a group comprising 18 species divided into 6 main genera: crested, banded, brush-tailed, little yellow-eyed, and great, including king and emperor. Each group possesses distinct physical characteristics, behaviors, and ecologies, from plumage, color, and size to living habits. Distribution. Although commonly associated with Antarctica in popular culture, fewer than a third of all penguin species live around the icy continent. The majority of species prefer temperate waters along the coasts of South Africa, South America, Australia, and New Zealand. The penguin is the only exception that crosses the equator, thanks to utilizing the cool ocean currents around the archipelago. These differing habitats have led to various adaptations. Species living in icy regions develop thick blubber and dense plumage. Along with heat retention mechanisms, species in warmer regions have cooling methods such as spreading their wings or having middleless patches of skin around their beaks for blood circulation to cool down. Some prominent species groups and their characteristics. Banded penguins have peculiar calls, sometimes resembling donkeys. This group includes many small to medium-sized species living in South America. Species like Humboldt and Magellanic are named after early European explorers. Little penguin, the smallest of the banded species, standing about 0.5 meters tall, living in Australia and New Zealand, also known as fairy penguins or blue penguins due to the bluish hue on their backs. Yellow-eyed penguin, notable for their yellow eyes and head patches. When on land, they live in coastal forests on islands in southern New Zealand. Crested penguins, comprising 7 species, notable for their vibrant crests, orange beaks, and reddish-brown eyes. Easily recognizable features. King and emperor penguins, large-sized, extremely well-adapted to harsh conditions. The emperor is the largest species, accustomed to temperatures as low as -40 degrees Celsius. Swimming and diving ability. Penguins are elite underwater predators. Their torpedo-shaped body reduces drag. Stiff flippers act as paddles. Feet serve as rudders for steering. And dense bones help them dive deep. Some impressive data. Swimming speeds can be 3 times faster than Olympic athletes in some species. Emperor penguins can dive to approximately 500 meters and stay underwater for about 20 minutes. Achieved by reducing heart rate, adjusting oxygen distribution, prioritizing brain and heart, and temporarily suspending non-essential organ activity. When swimming, they also release bubbles from their feathers, which helps reduce water viscosity and increase gliding efficiency. Plumage consists of 2 layers. A tight outer layer for waterproofing and a downy inner layer that traps air for insulation. An oil gland near the tail secretes a waterproofing substance, and penguins spend considerable time preening, combing, oiling. To maintain their water resistance, this is crucial when swimming in waters as cold as -2 degrees Celsius. In species living in cold regions, the downy layer traps warm air, and thick blubber aids insulation. In species living in warmer regions, cooling mechanisms include exposing skin patches around the beak and spreading wings to increase air convection. Reproduction and chick rearing. Penguins employ various nesting strategies. Some species burrow, while others build nests from stones. Emperor penguins have a unique strategy. Eggs are incubated on the male's feet, covered by a skin flap on the belly brood pouch, and the male keeps the egg warm throughout winter while the female goes to sea to forage. An almost unbelievable cycle suited to their harsh environment. Incubation periods can last 1 to 2 months depending on the species. Newly hatched chicks are entirely dependent on their parents. Some species hatch covered in down, for example, Adelie gentoo, while larger species like emperors hatch naked, weighing only a few hundred grams. Chick survival rates are very low. For instance, only about 10% of emperor penguin chicks survive to adulthood. Half of king penguin chicks survive. Many species gather chicks into for protection when parents are foraging. Diet. Penguins are primarily piscivorous seafood eaters. Small fish, anchovies, sardines, squid, and krill. Hunting methods vary by species. Some catch individual prey with their beaks. Some groups, like certain banded species, hunt in cooperative groups to drive prey to the surface. Smaller Antarctic species prefer squid and krill. They are an intermediate link in the food chain, preying on many marine species while also being preyed upon by larger predators such as orcas and leopard seals. On land, chicks are threatened by skuas, petrels, and even invasive animals like snakes, feral cats, and foxes. Social behavior and communication. Penguins live in large colonies. Some emperor colonies can number up to nearly 500,000 breeding pairs. Within the colony, each individual has a unique call to identify their mate and chicks among the crowd. This is a critical survival strategy. Calls can vary greatly. For example, the gentoo's call is described as piercing. When hunting, penguins often cooperate or hunt in groups to increase safety. The colonial environment also leads to minor conflicts over nest-building materials, territory. But generally, there isn't a very strict hierarchy. Evolution and history. Modern penguins are descendants of about 40 extinct ancestral species. These ancestors were once capable of flight. The transition to flightlessness began around 65 million years ago after a major extinction event. Fossils indicate there were once extremely large species, and the changes in size, bone structure, and flippers are the result of millions of years of adaptation to marine life. In more recent history, penguins were discovered by European explorers from the 15th century. The name was somewhat confused with an extinct northern hemisphere bird, great auk. Genetically, penguins are closely related to some other seabirds. Albatrosses, petrels, evident in beak structure and DNA. Ecological role and cultural value. Penguins contribute to nutrient distribution from sea to land through their guano. They also help balance marine populations. Culturally, penguins appear frequently in stamps, coins, films, books, and television shows, becoming symbols of the beauty and resilience of polar nature and the ocean. Threats and conservation. Today, over half of all penguin species are threatened to varying degrees due to human impact. Historical hunting, egg harvesting, oil pollution, plastic waste, ship collisions, and most importantly, climate change, leading to melting ice, altered food sources, and nesting habitats. The encroachment of invasive animals, cats, rats, foxes, on breeding islands has increased chick mortality. However, there are bright spots. Some species like Adelie and gentoo remain stable or are increasing in population in certain areas. Many international organizations, parks, aquariums, and conservation programs are actively working, protecting breeding grounds, removing invasive animals, rescuing and rehabilitating, raising public awareness, and conducting scientific research to develop long-term conservation measures. Conclusion: penguins are a clear testament to evolutionary adaptation, transforming from flying birds into excellent divers. With their high sociality, diverse reproductive strategies, and superb swimming and diving abilities, they are both biologically admirable creatures and global cultural icons. However, the future of many species largely depends on human conservation efforts against challenges such as climate change, pollution, and direct impacts on their habitats.